Does anybody have any question? Christosmos?
Yogi, I want to ask you, what happened to your finger?
What happened with my finger? I was
Yes.
I was in a retreat in Croatia, and I was basically making sure all my friends was fed nicely, the yogic food. I think I was making a khichdi one day, and in the process of chopping vegetable, I think I might have chopped. I'm right-handed, but managed to chop my right thumb. It's usually happened to the left hand, but it's a little accident with I can take it off. So it's less distraction for people. So I had a little slice came off. So it's this little cut. Does anybody have any question? If not, I wouldn't be surviving with the Japanese knives with Anthony for sure.
Are you in Croatia now or London?
I'm back in London. I was in Croatia. I came back, I think, Thursday night, early morning on Friday.
In the summer, where are you going to be? London or Croatia?
In July, I will be in like mid-July onward in Croatia and the whole of August. So they plan to be in Croatia in July just because I have a couple of programs there. I have a retreat in Croatia, also the Vipassana meditation, along with some training program for yoga people. And after that, see how it goes. Maybe there was a possibility I was planning to go to maybe to US, but see how it goes, if it happens. If not, I might come down to Greece to see.
Great. I will wait for you. Or I will come find you.
I don't
know.
Come to Croatia.
Yeah, I'm thinking of it. Maybe I will come and then see how it goes.
Other than that, it's all good. I have a couple of questions. Somebody asked you last week question about mind and the senses, and I did not really have much time to speak about it. And if there's any other question, Michelle, please do let me know. There was a question from which was about senses and what is the relationship between mind, or could you please talk about interaction of senses and the mind and our role in that process? Your mind and senses are very much interrelated. Your body is the mind, your senses are on your body. Whatever your body comes in contact with, you interact. And your senses receive information, produce information, depending on where your body coming in contact with. And it reacts, basically, which is your mind, the subtle process. Sometimes when there is separation in your intellect, intelligence, and your senses, a lack of synchronicity, that time, even the thought process, which you can call it mind, seems like some sort of animal or some other being living inside you. But through the observation and the practice, I think your body is your mind. whatever happens, it all appears on your body. There is nothing you can do without the body. Even when you are not participating physically, but your subtle awareness, the energy of your subtle body, even in your thinking, you are thinking as if you are doing with your physical body. Whatever senses you have in your body, and subtle body with your mind, either you are listening, which requires ear energy, smelling requires your nose energy, feeling the touch requires your skin sense, walking, talking, creating, doing, any activities you do, it always has a certain sense engagement. And when there is sense engagement, your senses are engaged, your interaction is going to be there. Some interactions you accept it, that is an interaction. Or you react towards to it, that is interaction. Or you suppress it, avoid it, not acknowledge it, that is also interaction, depending on the person's viveka ability, a person's knowledge ability, how the person is, what state of mind person is, what state of consciousness person is, or awareness person has. For example, your mind comes in contact with something, depending on level of your awareness, consciousness, you will relate that context to your belief system, or you will measure it to your level of knowledge about that topic. So your mind will always interact, and your interaction is depend on a level of your consciousness, level of your awareness. If your level of awareness, consciousness is high enough, you will accept it, will not have any reaction to it. Interaction is still taking place, but reaction is not there. Your effect to Vastu is not there. So when we talk about yoga, when you're practicing yoga, everybody gives a definition of yoga is unity between your mind and body. What yoga does, it takes away the separation of the created by the system or by your own understanding that you are different, your body is different, your mind is different. But the lack of synchronicity is not there. Your senses and what you are saying, what you would like your senses to do, they are not operating or functioning the same way. So when you practice yoga, you come to your senses, you come to your body. If you cannot come to your senses, you cannot come to your body. Only time you can work in yogic consciousness when senses are calmed down, when senses are connected with the body. Sometimes if you notice, soon after yoga practice, you feel really calm, you feel really contained, you feel connected with the body. Because yoga have brought that malfunction within your awareness or within your body and your sense, lack of synchronicity is there, that get reduced, they get aligned with each other. And your thought process become clearer and calmer, which you feel is effect of yoga. But slow and steady practice will reach to the point there will be less and less day by day as you practice, less harmony between your senses and in your body. Or you can call it senses and in your mind. Or you can call it your mind is more available, your energy or your thought process is very clear. As information you receive by your senses, your thought process is very clear, sharp, attentive, and alert. So your mind is more present to your senses, to the information you are receiving. So your body is operating in harmony with the senses. Sometimes I've seen people, your arm is one of the sense. You tell, move your right arm, it's physical awareness of the sense. But they have to think few times in the brain, which is my right arm, despite it has been on your body all your life. And you have been trained and taught which is right and left, but when you have to use it, you have to think about it. There is a lack of synchronicity, there is lack of connection to the body senses. So our role on material level is to make sure your senses and your body is aligned and mind is attentive, the energy of the thinking process or receptive nature of the sense or productive nature or reaction nature of the sense, you are really alert to it. You are really attentive to it. That is a one individual person's role in the process of the senses and the information received and produced by the senses, how your mind is processing that information, how your body is processing that information, how your body is reacting, responding to that information. You should always remain alert, attentive, and witnessing slowly, when you are in a state of tamas and rasic, try to adapt, bring the awareness, what you can call it mindfulness, towards to your senses. Slowly, that in the process of it. Once you become sattvic, start practicing witnessing, not even practicing being mindful, not being watchful to your senses, not watching your actions in tamas nature, rasic nature, sattvic nature, mindful. If you go further, you only become as a jnana yogi, silently witnessing the action that is taking place in your body, but not affected by them at all. You like them or you dislike them, it does not really affect, but you get to see it as it is. This you can call also drishta, bhav, your awareness, your consciousness become as a seer rather than somebody who consumed by it or consuming it, just only a seer. Now, when we use the word seer, if you say that in society, they think you are a fortune teller. The word seer is used in some time, or seer of the truth, but seer of the individual truth, but not the seer of the truth for everyone. Word seer literally means somebody can see themselves fully and wholly as and what happens within the senses and within the body. And if you tell somebody that I am a seer, for example, yourself, they think that you are seeing the truth, you are seeing the future, you have who can see things. But that word only to be seen what is for you, what is happening within you. You have developed that ability of drishta bhav, the awareness, the consciousness. So, as a spiritual practitioner, depending on your awareness level, depending on your practice level, I will recommend or suggest to be as attentive to the every sense that is happening, what is happening through your body, what you're processing, how when you process, how do you react to it. That will lead to a greater health. I have one more question, somebody. William asking, I often wear a weighted vest too. It's like armor, I believe. And one more question, how can I lean down other than intermittent fasting if I'm so serious and sensitive and life makes me suffer? I feel this is harming me mentally too. I do not think, my friend, life makes anybody suffer. We make life suffer. Your mind makes life suffer. You have been entangled or captured by your mind, in prison of your own ideas. You are imprisoned by your own ideas. You are suffering because of your ideas. Life doesn't suffer, neither you suffers. But when you are in prison of your own creation, it can be sometimes like hell. You do not need to die to witness that. You can have it in everyday, day-to-day moment. Sometimes you can feel drowning, as have somebody tied lots of weight to you and throw you in the sea. Sometimes life can feel like that too. That is your own karma, that is your own creation. Sometimes that is your own ideology also. Idea plus ideology. And the greed also participates in that. The fear also participates in that. Greed and fear are good chains that one can tie the own mind, the possibility of it. How can I lean down other than the intermittent fasting? There is one word in Sanskrit we have, santosa. It's a very powerful word. It's being contained, or at least observing your thoughts whenever the mind comes along with the lack in your life, which lack can be level of spirituality, level of material aspect, aspirations. You practice santosa. When you can find the santosa, you can find a little bit of peace. Day to day, in every action. But that does not mean you stop engaging with life. Intermittent fasting can be very helpful for you, William, but I will not do it obsessively. Anything that is obsessive nature becomes an abuse. Something that done to the point where you're doing it because you enjoy the suffering that creates for you. You need to stop that nature. Wearing a weighted vest, you are not in a medieval time war field, my friend. Unless you're preparing yourself for military, then you have to carry some weight on your chest. I do not see any point or any benefit whatsoever. Wearing a weighted chest for what? Maybe some physical strength. You have been wearing it for some time, as I believe. That is already creating physical suffering. You are in this human body not to torture yourself. But that does not mean You just lay or sit down on a sofa or a bed and do nothing. Indulge in stuff yourself with the streets all day long, that you know you are pleasing the mind 24/7. You are here to understand the senses, understand the body. Create a fine balance that can uplift your awareness and consciousness. Wearing the weighted chest, I see a zero contribution towards to uplifting your consciousness or increasing your awareness other than the physical strain. It can be very helpful unless you're going for the swimming in the water, wear the weighted chest and see how much lung capacity you can build on. Which one I would recommend? Practice pranayama. You do not need a weighted chest. Your carcass, your chest have enough capacity to expand and restrict its own expansion of lung capacity and diaphragm, but build a mental power. Your power of your mind is a lot more greater and stronger than your physical strength. You can be very strong physically, but mentally weak. You will give up very easily. But you are mentally strong, physically weak, you may survive to a certain capacity. But you cannot just say, I will wear a weighted chest and see if it helps me or makes me grow. I have not worn any weighted chest, and I'm pretty sure you have very good stamina, William, have a good strength in your body as well. I will recommend not to torture yourself wearing it. So, you feel it's harming you mentally, intermittent fasting is supposed to help you. And life only becomes suffering when your ideology and your ideas creating the prison to your own self. So try to be revolutionary in your thinking. Try to implement the practices that you have learned, not just jump. Today, I want to do that much. That is in my spiritual agenda. That is in a trend at the time. Then a few days later, you hear about somebody else doing it. You dropped, you take the new step. Third day, new step. If, for example, like you have bought a plant to your home and you want that plant to grow. And you have visitors coming every day into your life, into your home. You planted that tree into the ground. Somebody said, this tree is not suitable here, you plant it there. You take it outside, replant it. Next person comes along, gives you completely different advice. Third person, different advice. By the month is being passed, now plant start dying. Now plant is suffering. We have never allowed that plant to root. We have never given a possibility for that plant to be in a plant nature. Nature of the plant is to root in order to grow. You've been keep shuffling, keep moving, keep shifting, because depending what is in the trend for your own spiritual practices and health practices. So give it a time, my friend, and practice, study. If you like to feel the growth, otherwise, continue suffering, so you call yourself. I have a couple more questions. Somebody asked last week, what is a spirituality and religion, and what's the difference being materialistic and spiritual? There was a issue is, I don't really need to convince people. What you believe in, believe 100%. If you are spiritual, you do not need somebody else's validation for your spirituality. If you are materialistic, you do not need somebody else's validation to be materialistic. The moment you start seeking approval for you being spiritual or you being religious or materialistic, in a very belief of yours, you are having a little doubts. You are not very comfortable with it. Means time for a change. It requires a rethinking for your transformation. Personally, if you are practicing whatever you are practicing, do it with the dedication. 100% dedication. There are many stories about it. There is a story about there was a one person who were a hunter, which is karmically and nature-wise very tamasic energy. In order to have that ability to hunt or kill people or animals, he was waiting silently, quietly to take the life for his children or family, to take the deer's life. He's sitting in the tree and underneath a Sivalinga. Everybody knows nowadays Sivalinga is the Shiva stone that everybody, even including Muslims, worships in Makkah. But they don't say that. So the Sivalinga, and he is not spiritual on any level whatsoever. He is doing his karma of going to hunt the deer. Unconsciously, in anticipation of waiting. Time has been passing, the very auspicious day. There is one very holy tree, and he keeps dropping those holy trees, holy tree leaves or vilva leaves on Sivalinga. And after a certain time, with the patience, he becomes spiritual with the blessing of Shiva. Shiva comes appearance. So in that very much story, I believe personally, it may be a made up or not made up. God does not care that are you material or spiritual. In that very much story, there is a message that your nature of your vrittis, nature of mind can be transformed with dedication, with the karma, and can be purified in your thinking through your actions. Your Atman, deep inside you, your energy is not tamasic, rasic, or sattvic. Your energy is not good or bad. It is how or what state of mind you channel that energy through. The state of mind is subject to your senses. Your senses are subject to your circumstances, and your ability to react or not react, and your awareness and alertness or attentiveness to it, your consciousness. So I personally, if you are thinking that you are materialistic, be religiously. I didn't say to follow the religion. There's a difference between word religion and being religious. You religiously can be materialistic, religiously can be spiritualistic. But do not let the ideology and idea what is being spiritual means. If you become stuck in that framework, remain receptive and open and constantly broadening your understanding. Sometime what also I have discovered or found in the life, people use religion as an escape. People use religion is to also being lazy. Don't need to do it because it requires a lot of effort. That is my definition of my life is according to that religion that have created a to-do list and book list that I follow these guidelines. I'm perfectly happy, either it's good or bad, or right or wrong. For other people, am I creating even a violence or hurting many people, creating unconsciously on the name of religion, or you might be creating a karma that is creating a lot of pain to many other people. But you have justified that it is okay, perfectly fine with it. Similarly, on name of spirituality, lots of people justify their karma, saying, they use spirituality as a bypass or justify their actions. Because it requires a certain level of tapas or discipline to the senses or practice of dharma to the senses. I have seen lots of people using the non-duality, saying it's okay to eat meat because end of the day, we are all same. Sometimes you can see people saying, I am nobody. Whenever it comes to the taking the responsibility, they bring spirituality in there to drop the responsibility to somebody else. So using the very evolved and profound phrases to be looking cool, to be looking evolved, despite whole life is catastrophic, whole life is going completely having tsunami inside the mind or in the life, but it had to appear self-justification. Sometimes to accept that it also requires any strength. So spirituality can also be a weakness. Similarly, materialism can also be a weakness. Religion can also be a weakness. I would say be religious, doesn't matter. You are living in this material world and living through this material body. Try to bring your consciousness to that level. Your spirit Your consciousness, your awareness is witnessing every action that you are doing to this body. I can assure you, you will be very spiritual. You will be very spiritual. Only difficulty is you're doing spirituality for expectation. Similarly, materialism you're doing with expectation is limited. Your growth is limited. Your transformation is limited. So I have popped up one more question just now. Thank you, William. I hope you implement it to not to control the prana. Prana is there to be harnessed in the body. You have unlimited source of energy within your body. The prana is unlimited available. It's only depending on one person's awareness or capacity how you can harness the prana. Majority of the time you are actually losing the prana to every sense and every possible way as you can. That's what most effort is, to lose the prana. Because once you feel loss of energy, prana in your body, you do not know what to do with it. You become destructive. You know the Vajra, one word, Vajra, which is a lightning. There's also a astra called Vajra, or the lightning energy in your body. Your body have lots of strength, is almost, your bones can become like Vajra, strong like Vajra. You also have a Vajra Nadi in your body. When we're practicing asanas and pranayama, you're creating a purification of impurities of the body. Now, word dhatu, which is basically a metal in one sense of it. The elementary relationship. Dhatu of your body is the bone structure is really strong. You have 108 dhatus in your body, 108 metals in your body. When you practice them, it takes away all the impurities of it. It builds the strength in the body. When you start practicing yoga slowly, not being flexibility, we have a very big problem once you say flexibility equals yoga. You can have a loss of degeneration in your bones, in your joints. You can be flexible. Living in a painkiller every day, that does not equals yoga. When you're practicing yoga, once the impurities of the body is out, your body becomes stronger. Like Vajra can take the lightning energy that is running through your body all the time. Injuries in the yoga happens because when you're practicing asanas that you are not ready to practice. When you are not ready to practice the practices you are doing, when your body, your nervous system, and cosmology of your own body, which you can call it pranamaya kosa, or the subtle body of your own body, is not ready to process that amount of energy to your body, you end up hurting. You end up developing the degeneration of your own body. Your body starts decaying. So, impurities of the body is also in your thought process. in your mind, in many other physically as well. So clean diet is very important part. Point one. In your thinking is also important part. So when you practice yoga, I will highly recommend not to fight with the body. You're practicing yoga to understand your limit and to explore your maximum potential of your limit, how far you can go. But not pushing the limits so you can strain yourself or hurt yourself. It's almost like you're taking the fish to the shore, but when it goes outside, it will not survive. Maybe it may survive if you believe Darwin theories of evolution, maybe millions of years' time. So, personally, you're practicing anything not to do it with obsessive nature, not to practice to the point where you are crossing the limit. You think the pain is spirituality. People say without suffering, there is no transformation. Wrong statement. You do not need to suffer in order to please God. You do not need to suffer in order to understand or realize yourself. You do not need to suffer in order to grow or transform yourself. But at the same time, you do not need to indulge in a comfort either. So there is one word in yoga we use, sam. This also word adding, but also means equality, equilibrium of your brain, equilibrium within your thinking and your actions. Now, once you use the word equilibrium, say you mean moderation. Then people come back to the sense pleasure. Say, I can eat meat in moderation. I can drink alcohol in moderation. I can smoke in moderation. There's a different. Moderation is a modern word, nothing to do with spirituality. It's called equilibrium. So you need to find a balance in your thinking, in your lifestyle, but not done to justify your attachment and addictions. So on that note, I believe that will be enough for today. We'll see you next week or when you can make it. Have a great weekend and good rest of the weekend, good evening or good night. Thank you, everyone.